Hello everybody and welcome to City Skylines with myself TW1. This is City Fix and this is a city that a streamer called Boozey pretty much destroyed live on stream, and I am now going to attempt to save it, revive it, rescue it, whatever you want to call this, because holy moly this is a big one. So let's get into the damage that he caused and let's talk about why this is probably one of the hardest ones I've ever done or ever seen. So, no clickbait about this one. Seriously, really tricky one to save. First and foremost, as you can see, lots of sick people, lots of dead people. That is because he accidentally flipped his water pipes around by mistake, sucked up polluted water, and killed a crap ton of his citizens, as well as making a lot of them ill as well. So, that is bad news bears. That means the medical centre is absolutely jam-packed in at capacity. Also, the death care is not doing very well either at the moment, so really bad in that situation. The other problem is his traffic is not great, which is then being compounded by the fact that ambulances and hearses are clogging up the road. And to top it off, just to make it a little bit harder, it's his base game. There's no mods, there's no DLC, there's no nothing. This guy doesn't own any mods, this guy doesn't have any DLCs, so I can't use any myself to help him fix his city, because I want to make sure I can hand it straight back to him and him to just plug and play. I don't want him to have to struggle around with any mods or buying a DLC, for example. So, yeah, let's get into this. We're also losing money and losing population just to compound the issue. So, first and foremost, let's worry about the medical care, and we need to try and get that sorted in the best way possible. There is a hospital there that I am going to nick and move, because that is in a little bit of a high traffic area, and I'm going to boop it over here because this is a low traffic area, and we're going to hopefully utilise this hospital to suck up all of the sick people in this area the fast we can. We're going to use this district, this Vermont Hills area, and Robin Hills as a main area to try and revive some of the city. Mainly because this area, Madison Heights, is ruined with traffic, and that is going to be very hard to solve. We've also then got to unclog all of the traffic down this highway and all of the traffic down this highway, as well as probably some traffic down this highway. It's not too bad that way. Well done. I suppose that's one direction, that's okay. So yeah, plan of action is to first and foremost pick up the dead people, pick up the sick people, and make sure that the city can revive itself. These cemeteries, by the way, they don't need to be near industry. I see a few people do this. They can be next to houses. Houses are quite happy to live next to them, so we're going to replace sick buildings with these cemeteries, dot them around in areas with okay traffic flow, and hope that they can suck up all of the people and improve land value, because land value being utterly destroyed is going to destroy your city very fast. So where's another little area? Where to move you to? Let's move you over here, the end of this road. You pick up the areas in this district. So that's that covered. We're going to have to just wait and see when it comes to that. The next thing we need to do is we need some extra cash. So we're going to have to take out the big boy loan that is in this game. Thank you very much for that one. We are then going to play around with the budgets a little bit. So I don't care about garbage collection at the moment. I'm going to drop that down to 70%. I'm going to try and save on as much money as I can, because we are plummeting money at the moment. And I'm expecting to lose more. Same for fire care. I don't particularly care about it. I know these will increase land value of the higher percentages, but at the moment it's going to be more important to keep the flow of money the best we can. Main thing is also to check your power and water situations, because if you have any excess you can cut back on that. We can cut back on the power by a good 20%. And we can cut back on the water by another 10% as well, probably. So that will be splendid. I'm just going to drop that 10% as well. There we go. Now we can get into the road situation. So this main issue in here is the big one. This one here is causing all the issues. I can just tell it is. So we're going to use the in-game tool, which is this one here. We're going to select traffic routes. And we're going to click on this road. This one right here, to see where the hell all of this traffic is trying to go. So we can see where it's come from, where is it all mainly trying to go. So a good portion of them, I want to do a left and go into this area and go into all of these houses around here. Another massive chunk of them want to do a hard old right and jam all the way over here. So I'm also noticing a few of these guys are doing a 180 and trying to go back onto the highway. That is bad news, Bears. We don't want to be seeing that. So the main issue is going to be this junction, and that needs to be solved. So I like the idea of this 4-leaf clover here. It's in the wrong place by a smidge, and it's just a little bit too tight. If we lowered that and we brought it down to probably in and around where all of these incinerator plants are, it would allow us to have a lot more space, meaning we can connect it into different roads better, and that would then really increase the traffic flow. So we're going to have to delete this. That may mean deleting some industry and deleting some houses. We're going to have to do that in a couple of different areas. I am sorry about that. Same with this by here. I think this should be a 4-leaf clover. If this is a 4-leaf clover, it's going to help your traffic out a lot. So we're going to delete a good portion in here as well. And same for this in here. This junction's awful. I'm going to show you how to build a junction yourself that is better for this area, and we'll probably replace this with a nice roundabout system that will help all of the traffic in that area. So let's start with some big old destruction. Sorry, Boozey, your city is going under siege when it comes to the bulldozer. There we go, the destruction is done. That is all of the pain done for you, Boozey. If you're watching along and going, oh my god, this is awful, I'm sorry, but I'm going to explain to you why a good road network will keep this city ticking along, and it will help you out in the future as well. We're also going to try and teach you a few lessons, because the more you learn, the better you get at the game, and the better you get at the game, the more fun you're going to have on this game, because it is a great game. So like we said, a 4-leaf clover needs to be going in here, so we're going to try and fit a 4-leaf clover in somewhere the best as well. We're also going to hook up this highway in a couple of different areas to try and help the traffic out a little bit. So I'm thinking a connection over here, for example, a connection in here somewhere, and a connection in here as well. So let's see whereabouts we want this 4-leaf clover to go. We'll try and line him up. Bang! That's in. So now it's time to lay in some highway roads, and then it's time to hook it all up as well. So have to just connect all of these back up and give the game a good opportunity of where it wants to be doing, or what it wants to be doing with these roads the best we can. And then in here we're going to be banging in a big old roundabout, so it means we may have to destroy a little bit more of this area. I really didn't want to do that, but it's gonna have to happen. And then we have a nice highway road that we can then run through this part of the city, which I'm thinking, bridge over here, maybe delete some of these houses to boot through this area, and then we can add in a nice junction in this area to hook up the highway as well. Add a little couple of offshoots in here with a roundabout or two as well, and that will help split traffic. So let me crack on with hooking up this highway in all of the directions that I want it to be going. Okie dokie, so the base idea for the highway system I'm looking to implement is in. I could extend this highway any further, but I don't think there's a great opportunity of doing much with it without destroying massive chunks of your city. But I'd consider this a reasonable chunk of your city. It could be a lot worse. Don't worry, I will be rebuilding the city so it gets back up to about 30,000 population. So I'm going to hand you a city with green in the money, green in the population, with a road network is hopefully working. That is the plan anyway, which we shall see. First and foremost, let's now build a roundabout. Now, in the base game, you have a couple of roundabouts to use if you would like. I don't particularly like them though, because I don't think they're that great. We can make a roundabout ourselves and we can make them better. So, 2-lane gravel road is the cheapest one to use, and now all you have to do is build the roundabout yourself. So we're just going to come out a few, We are going to boot you in. So we're going to go and connect either side. So now we know that is evened up and perfect. And then what we're just going to do is do a 120 out that way, 120 out that way, and then we'll find the exact spot. 120, 120. That is not 120, that is 100. And now once all that is done, you've got the template in, you just kick your curve road and you select it all the way around and just make sure it nips in all the way around, and then you make the perfect roundabout that you need. I know it's not exactly perfect round, it's an oblong shape, but it does work when it comes to this game, and you can then upgrade it to your 3-lane highway road, the road you should always be using when it comes to roundabouts. They are the preferred road. You can't zone them on them for a good reason. And then we're just going to delete these roads back here a touch. And we're going to bend them in ever so slightly to try and help the game out a little bit as well. So we're probably going to use these ones as the template, and then we will upgrade them to a different road. We're going to try and just ever so slightly like that, just tease them in so there is a little bit of a shape to that road. Same for this direction as well. There we go. There is a little graphical glitch, but we can solve that. No real issues. And that will just help the game out a touch, and we can then select whereabouts we want our offshoot roads to be. So I'm thinking, as we've got this little connection here, the obvious choice is to come off this node, but that's going to be a touch close. What I'd like to do instead is just to come off at a slight angle instead, and that might be the better place to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw in where we want to be coming off and where we want to be coming off as well. See, this is the main road, and I want to be hooking up into this main road, so we're going to have to do a little bit of a curve job, and then boop you into there we go, and then we can upgrade the roads to the road types that we want, and we can start talking about lane mathematics when it comes to your highway. So let's do that right now. Let's delete these little roads on the inside. Always keep these in while you're building roundabouts. It helps them hold the shape. And now let's talk about lane mathematics. So, very simple concept, lane mathematics. 3 roads coming along here, one goes off, so this road should be, that's right, a 2-lane road. Now, in the base game, without the Mass Transit DLC, you do not have the option for a 2-lane or a 4-lane highway, something that I really cannot stress enough. They are super important and really helpful. So instead, we're going to have to use these one-way roads. Don't zone on them. Whatever you do, please do not zone on them. That is my greatest tip for you. But just think they are highway roads, you can't zone on them. That is my only tip for you. So now, as you can see, instead of this guy having 2 options when it comes to turning, so he can go right or straight, he now only has this turn right option. Let me show this over here. So he can go straight or right. Bang. He can now only go right, and that is what you want. That is how you are going to force your traffic into what lane they need to be back here a little bit earlier, which will help with queuing, and it won't clog them up. Same on the other side. Now, we are going to be doing, 3 into 2 equal 3, which is going to be a little bit of a concern, because we are then going to be jamming 3 lanes into a big old roundabout. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 lanes there, just to give them the right number of lanes, and then I'm going to force them to downgrade. Isn't preferable. This isn't a great idea, but I'm going to have to do it to try and help this roundabout out, because otherwise it's going to be jam-packed and brutal. So that is how you do that. This is a squiggly old roundabout. If you want to change the shape of this, by any means, do it. I don't particularly mind. It's not the greatest of looking roundabouts, so it will function as we want. And now we have this road here. We're going to now consider this a main road. So what I'm then going to try and do is I'm going to say, right, you should be upgraded all the way through here to this 4-lane road. I'm also not going to use these 6-lane roads because we're trying to save money. These 6-lane roads are more expensive to put down, and they are more expensive upkeep as well. As you can see, the upkeep is 1.28. Compare it to these roads, which are perfectly fine and will do the job. They are 1.12 every single cell. Cell? How big is a cell, you say? That's a cell. So think about it. That cost rapidly increases, and it will cause you lots and lots of money when it comes to your budget. So we're going to upgrade all of these guys in here. We're going to have to delete some of the houses and rezone them. but we will then have a main road we can utilise and allow to breathe. We're also going to downgrade any of these 4-lane roads, or any of these 6-lane roads, should I say, to different roads. I'm also then going to probably extend this road straight down into here, because that will be where I want the main road to go. And I would probably just delete that, because that shouldn't really be a road. And it will then continue to be the main road that can flow all the way into this area. If you wanted to, you can make this a little one-way system in this little square. That wouldn't be a dreadful idea. And once you've done all that, you then go into your traffic routes tool again. You go to junctions and you start killing some of these traffic lights, because that is not what you want. You want these main roads to be flowing the best you can. So there you go. Stop, 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 all the way around to allow these main roads to be the main arteries of your city. Now right here you've got a little bit of an interesting conundrum, because you have a main road very, very close to a roundabout. That is not exactly ideal. So what I would probably do here is I would first and foremost delete that road. I wouldn't have it connected in there. I would delete all of that, delete all of this, and then I'd rezone it with smaller roads in a better fashion, because that will be better for you. So I'd probably drag like a small little road, but I wouldn't connect it to this one, you see. I'd just leave it with a little gap, and then in here you can zone like that, and that will make sure you get all of the zoning space you want without clogging up your main roads. You could even not even zone on your main roads at all, so only zone on the roads that you want. And the best way of forcing the zoning to pick the roads that you want is to use your paths. I have noticed you haven't used any paths in your city, and they are hugely important and great for getting people around, as well as doing little tricks like this. So if you turn all of this stuff off and then slowly just tease this all the way around, even with a curve or with a straight, as you can see, very, very slowly, you are forcing the zoning off your main road and onto the side streets, meaning this main road's job is just for traffic to go straight. It doesn't have to stop and pull off at a building at any point. All it's going to do is go exactly where you want it to be going, which is flow as fast as it can. And then in certain little spots, maybe right here, you want people to be able to get from this area to this area. So this is where you probably build a bridge. Very quickly, we'll just do that. Use the grid guidelines and the angle, for example. We'll boop up. Go to the bottom selection on the elevation step. Go up 1, 2, 3. That will always go over the top of your road if your road is at ground level. Select a straight. We'll go straight over the top of that. And then we'll just try and get it to come down in a good fashion. That is too steep, as you can see. So we'll have to probably just come along at this angle and then bend him in like that. Delete a few houses. But now, if we connect this bad boy up to that, and then we connect him up, say, in here. This is a little bit of a rough job, I will admit this. This is not exactly the most prettiest of things I've done in City Skylines. People who live in this area maybe want to pop over to here to go to this park. They don't have to walk all the way around here. They don't have to get in their car. They can walk instead just over this little bridge, and that will save you on cars as well. So I should probably do this in certain areas of your city, trying to hook up little areas. Another great example of how to use a pedestrian bridge would be in an area like this. So you have a lot of commercial over here, a few residents. A few of these residents probably work in this industry. The only way they can get to this industry is to come along here onto your highway and then have to drive all the way in. Instead, just add a little footbridge and you'll be surprised by the amount of people who will use this to get over. I'm not even going to destroy any of your zoning either. I'm going to hook this up so it's nice and straight using the grid tool. I'm then going to turn the grid tool off so I've got the angle. Drag it as close to that road as I can. It is then connected, as you can see. I'm then going to turn grid back on, road left back on. Boop up, 1, 2, 3, I should have said. I only went up 2 then. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. Go straight over the top of your highway. Bang. Then go down again. 1, 2, 3. And then bend him in to wherever you want him to go. So maybe you don't want to destroy any more zoning. No problemo. We can then bend him in like that. And that is now connected. And you will be surprised by the amount of people who will use that and will cut down on your traffic. And it is really important. So I'd be doing that all over the city. I'll be connecting this area to that area, walking paths. And another great thing to do as well is to put in some road bridges that do not interfere with your highway as well. So we're going to have to pick one of these roads in here. I'm going to have to rebuild this district slightly, just so we have good, just so it's not quite as ugly, and just to redo the population a little bit. So what I'd probably want to do is I'd probably want to add in a little bridge. Now, I'm going to throw in one of these little roads, and I'm not going to use a big road, just for an example, and I'll probably bring him up 1, 2, 3, right there, drag him out so he's nice and straight, go straight over the top of that road, and then if I can, I'd get him to go straight into that road. And now you have a connection between these two guys. Now, that might not particularly work. That might be too small of a road, it might be congested, you may have to play around and build bigger and better bridges just to connect areas up. So this traffic doesn't have to go through this junction in here, and that means this junction is only going to be used by traffic that have to use it, and that will really, really help out your city. So now that is all said and done, let's build in a highway junction and interchange that will help connect this area to the highway. Now we're going to do that very, very simply. We're going to build a junction on top of here. So if you get your road tool like this, you turn on all of the bad boys so you have some nodes to play around with, because nodes will give you nice straight lines, and that will help you out. We'll then probably come off this road at a nice angle. Are you square to that? Not a chance, not a chance. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our own node. Just going to build that road in there, and now you can see we have an extra node to play around with, and that is exactly where we want this junction to start. So we're going to select the road that we want to be building with, which will be this one. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3. We're going to go straight over the top of this highway. That does not want to go over the top. I'm going to tell you why that doesn't want to go over the top, because that is on a slope. So we have to go up a 4th one, which is a shame. And then we'll collect in, and I'm going to have to redo that to try and tidy it up so it actually looks even, because otherwise I'm going to be annoyed with myself. Now we can come down to ground level, 1, 2, 3, 4, as fast as we can as well, because we want this to be a nice short slope, because we are then going to put a roundabout on both sides of this. Now I've already shown you how I build a roundabout, I'm not going to show you again. So there we go, roundabouts are built. We can then hook them up to the highway. I'm going to make it look as best I can. So a great little tip for you as well, use all of these little tools that you have available. Select the little road guideline there, and that will make it nice and square for you. And then if you just drag it along, that will make a perfect perpendicular road for you. So I'm going to do it on this side as well. And then once you're here, you then select a bending tool. You just bend him in to the roundabout exactly where you want, like that. You could even make that a little bit of a better slope, or a better turn, should I say, so it's not quite as dramatic. You could extend it out a little bit. And then from there, just go a bit into the straights tool, and then just tease it onto the highway in the best position possible. I like the 179% position, because it looks the best. Do that on both sides, and that is now hooked up. I'm going to do that on the other side as well, so it's all nice and even. And now that is done, we can upgrade these roads, that the dirt tracks, to the one-way highway roads, exactly what we want to use. And then we can use lane mathematics once again to downgrade this highway road to 2 lanes in the correct areas, to make sure that we get the perfect lane arrows, so we don't get a messy junction. That should be all good and hooked up. What direction should you be going? That one. And then we can select our 2-way road again. I will admit, these are a touch close. They're a touch close. It shouldn't cause any issues, but they are a teeny bit close. In hindsight, I should have built that like a tiny little bit further that way, but it's just a little bit of a tight area, and this is the best position I probably could have put it in. And then from here, we can select the road of our choice and bend him away from that cemetery, and we'll probably just jam him into that junction. Not the prettiest of areas to jam into a junction. And this one we can pop into there. I will say these need to stop being 6-lane roads. They are too big. I understand it's a very, very common misconception that people see like the traffic building up, and they're like, oh, bigger roads will solve it. Bigger roads won't solve it. Just trust me on that one, they will not solve it. And I'm then going to re-hook this area up. There we go, so that is now hooked up, and I would consider this pretty much set up to deal with all the traffic. Now, These junctions are very, very good, and I would try and do these as much as you can. So personally, I would do another one of them in and around this area. I'm not going to do it because it's going to delete a lot more of your city, and I'm going to leave you to do some of the fixtures yourself. I may even add one of these. Maybe you buy this tile in the future. I'd build one straight away in there and hook this up into that area of your city. That will really, really help out. Other little areas could do with one in here, could do with one. And I'm going to build you one in here as well very quickly as well, as we are going to need to sort this traffic out before we can unclick play and see if we can save this city. Intersection done. Another interchange to help people get into the city. Now they don't have to all bundle down here and use this intersection if they want. I did realise there was a little cut through, but wasn't exactly the greatest of junctions, and this will hopefully help flow out as well. I've also done some traffic route stuff, should I say, when it comes to controlling what junctions are where and who is taking priority over who. I've downgraded a lot of the roads as well to save on the budget, as well as making sure the right road is being used. Sometimes the bigger road is not the better option. May just do some little tunnels and a couple of quick little bridges to get from people from side to side. For example, if I'm looking at it properly, this guy could do a big old bridge over to this guy, and that would help out a lot. So we're going to delete this bridge that we put in earlier as a demonstration, and we're going to redo that a little bit better. So first and foremost, this guy needs to be booping straight over here. And then I'm going to say you should raise up here. 1, 2, 3. We won't actually do a tunnel because there is a big highway junction, so we'll do a tunnel instead of a bridge. We'll tunnel underneath here, come up to ground level, and then curve into you, meaning we're going to have to delete that footbridge, but we can replace that, no problemo. We'll then put the footpath back in like that, and he is then connected up beautifully. That means these people don't have to go through this roundabout, and that will help out traffic as well. And as we've got a little underground tunnel, let's use that underground tunnel and try and hook it into a different area if we can. I'm thinking if we bring him underneath, split him in here underground, and then give an option to both of these areas, that would probably help out the no end. So let's see if we can do that. Nice straight road into that kind of position. Areno. We'll then come out a little bit and then come up from underground and hook in. I don't want to go in there because I don't want to create another junction, so I'll probably have to bend him the best we can, and we'll come in that position, and we'll do the same on the other side. Obviously there is no connection on this side, so we can just come up and straight in. There we go, and that will also help out traffic. Now if you want to go in, tidy this up, you can tidy it up a lot. It could be cleaned up, it could be bridges, it could be better designed tunnels. By all means, go and do that. That is something for you to play around with. We're going to make sure that the power is hooked up. So I'm going to delete that power cable and just hook him up from there to there. And I think it's time, boys. I think it's time to press play. Cross your fingers and hope the game doesn't kill me. I've got very little money in the bank, and I'm hoping we don't go into the red, and I'm hoping the people don't all disappear. So, moment of truth, let's get on with it. Well, I've been running the city for a while now. I've just been building, getting rid of abandoned buildings, and I've been upgrading a couple of areas, moving a couple of buildings about as well, just to make sure they're on the correct roads, sorting out the traffic using traffic lights and turning them off, and putting in a little extra roads every now and then where I feel like a connection is needed. And I can report you need to be turned off because you're not doing anything yet and you're costing me money that I don't need. Population on the rise, money on the rise, traffic percentage is at 80%. That is massive, and that will only get better over time. There are still some busy areas with these guys whipping around this roundabout, you could see, and this roundabout being very busy, flowing fast, but eventually it should all take control and we should get a handle on everything. There are a few areas I've had to tweak and test as well, all the way in here as well. Still busy but flowing, so I'm going to call that pretty much a success. I'm now going to run this game for a while. I'm going to delete all the abandoned buildings and I'm going to replenish the population. I'll be back when all that is done. So there we go then. I'm going to call that the end of the episode. Budget, nearly $750,000 in the bank. Population 43k, that is up about 13k from the point at which it started to go bad for the Boozey Bean. Traffic flow percentage is 81%. It's fluctuating between 80, 85 and 70. There is still some red. There is some issues to solve still. So I haven't completely fixed it for the Boozey Bean. So he can go in, add some more bridges, add some more tunnels, add lots and lots more walkways, and use a couple of areas that I have designed as an idea of what to do. So pathways to block zoning, a little bit of industry inside there, and that is that. So yeah, I hope you've watched this and learned something. If you have, give it a like. If you feel like subscribe. I do have a vanilla playthrough series where you can get to see my city to see how that looks compared to this. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next one.